Good morning over here. It's a beautiful morning. I got up really early this morning, and it's been so hot out here. It's like uh,
Oh, dude, you have
110
no idea.
plus. I have no idea how hot it is.
No,
I was
over
like,
here it's been unbelievably horrible. We're approaching record breaking summer for
oh,
heat.
is that right?
But all of a
Well,
sudden today we have a gorgeous day. But go ahead, I'm
oh,
sorry.
well, that's good. I love to
Yeah,
hear
yeah.
that. I got up around 5 today, and immediately here's what I've been doing. I immediately go onto my back porch. I get up. I'm almost sleepwalking out there, and then I get out. It's so comfortable out there, and the
Uh,
sun is coming up and everything. And I read something about looking towards the sun, and it does something when the sun
yeah.
is coming up, and it does. Maybe we've
Morning
talked
sun.
about this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
the circadian rhythm or whatever it's called.
Andrew Huberman says that I don't know, it like sets your serotonin right for the day.
Yeah,
That kind
yeah,
of
yeah. Well, as soon as I heard that, I started doing it. And I am
good.
not a morning person. This is what we were talking about this week is, we talk about these things on the show, but we actually really do a lot
Yeah.
of these
Oh
things, right?
yeah.
And so I'm going out there and I was sitting out there this morning. Oh, what a great morning. Birds flying around, just
I'm glad you
nature.
did that. Before the podcast, that's awesome.
Yeah, I was
Good.
just sitting out there going over my notes and everything, having my coffee and some cereal. It was a perfect way to start the day. And I just feel giddy,
Oh,
like
I'm
that
so
old
glad.
Friday feeling.
Yeah,
Remember,
I'm so glad.
so Barry and I, when we were in college and we were roommates, Friday was a big day. We'd usually end up right around noon. We'd be done with classes,
If
throwing
we
frisbee.
had them, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I always had that radio show in the morning on Friday. And then it's a lot like this. It reminds me of this. It'd be really early in the morning. I'd do my show, and then I'd show up back at the house, and pretty soon we'd be playing frisbee, having
Oh
a
yeah.
beer out on College Avenue or whatever that road was. Willow and Lake. I think that's what it was.
God, you remember?
Willow and Lake.
I don't remember those at all. But this morning, yeah, I did my hit workout in the basement this morning, as I sometimes do on Friday. If I go to the gym every day of the week, by Friday I know it's kind of a waste of time for me to go to the gym. I'm just like my body's kind of spent. So going
Yeah, you're
into
recovering. Yeah.
So going into the basement and doing the hit workout, the YouTube video on a yoga mat. So it's cardio and it's burns calories. It's the greatest way to go on a Friday. So I did that. And then I took Charlie for a walk in the beautiful sunshine and 65,
Whew,
62, something
that's
like that.
nice. Actually, that's
Look at me. I'm
freezing for
wearing a
me, but
long sleeve shirt here.
look at that. And
First time
it's
forever.
August 1st.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank God I didn't realize that. So we got through June and July of sweltering heat, heat index always in triple digits. I looked up, are we going to break a record here? WKYC says there's a 33% chance we'll break a record for heat for the summer this
Wow.
year. And so, yeah, this is a big relief. I got all that sunshine. I came home thinking I want oatmeal with raisins and blueberries in it. And Lisa
Mm,
already had it out for me.
get
Exactly.
out of here.
So I've
Oh
had a
my God.
wonderful morning myself.
Ah, that's pretty cool. There's
Raring
nothing
to go.
like, working out or doing something strenuous or
Mhm.
whatever, and you come home and your wife has some kind of nice meal there for you. That is like heaven right there.
Oh, and let me tell you, that meal, like I don't eat it that much in the summer, but in the winter I was all the time coming back from walking Charlie in the morning when it was really cold out and having oatmeal with raisins and blueberries. Oh God, it's so good. I
That
use
sounds
some
awesome.
real maple syrup for the just a little bit of sweetener, not sugar, and it's delicious, man. It is so
That
good.
sounds awesome. You know what? I'd done some traveling last week, and when I came home, it was nighttime. Opened up the door. Anne Marie had made this bacon, and so the whole house smelled like bacon when I got home. What a
Oh,
wonderful way to come home! Like, oh
oh
my God,
yeah.
it's bacon. Like
Oh
that's
yeah.
my favorite.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, for
And I
sure.
said, I
Everyone's
made some
favorite.
bacon, just put some in your mouth. And I'm like, here I go. Dive in.
Dude, we got to get rolling. We got a lot
Right
to
on.
cover here.
Yeah, well, we're talking about fitness today, right?
Yeah, yeah, some really important stuff. And the reason it was important to me is because my lower back has been killing me. And
Mm.
it's very tight. Now, I'll be honest with you, just a little background. I had a growth spurt between the summer of eighth and ninth grade, and I think I shot up like 6 inches. And I always had lower back problems ever since then. And I remember my mother talking to my wrestling coach about that, and he nailed it. He said right there, it's because of that growth spurt, his muscles never caught up to his skeleton.
Huh.
Like, all
Interesting.
these years later, 40 years later, whatever, it sounds right to me. I've always kind of had that problem. I do stretch always first thing at the gym. In one of those kind of like it's like a rocking, how do I say this? It's like an inverted rocking chair. You kind of get into it, you push back so your lower back stretches. I do it for a long time. I do it slowly. Then I get up. Like the worst thing in the world to me is trying to touch my toes. Any time of
Really?
day, at the gym, anywhere, putting on my socks and underwear. It's like my underwear, I'm trying to lasso my foot, you know? Um,
I'm
it's
surprised there are not more injuries that result from this thing that you're talking
yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Tying up your feet in your underwear. Oh.
oh, for sure. I sit down. I'm sitting down when I do this. I am
Okay, all
not
right,
standing
gotcha.
because you are right. So anyways, my back has seemed especially bad lately. My gym, my Planet Fitness, they shut down for 3 days and totally redid the gym. It's horrible. They took out some really useful machines that I used every day, ab related. I always start with abs. And I've had to try to figure out how to recreate my routine. It's been awful. But with the problems with my lower back, I came across this article. In fact, you and I were talking about it in the AARP, and got me thinking about another old exercise, both of which are good for your lower back, good for your core, while helping reduce belly fat. And you're going to get those six-pack abs after 3 weeks of doing these exercises. That part I'm
Mm.
lying about completely.
3 weeks. I was wondering where you're going with that.
But the rest of it, I mean, and Merle, you know what? After doing my HIIT workout this morning on the yoga mat, I did these exercises.
Oh, good for you. I was going to try
Already
that
started.
this morning and I never got to it, but
Mm.
that's pretty. I wanted to try it out. I was looking at that exercise and thinking, okay, this makes a lot of sense. Let's hear more about this because, I did a little bit of research and I found out that the lower back pain is a common problem among adults, causing more disability around the world than any other condition.
Really?
Isn't that something? Research suggests that up to 80% of adults will experience low back pain in their lives, meaning that even if you haven't had it yet
Oh,
and you don't have it now, I don't want to say it, but there's a good chance that you're going to have to deal with it. So this is really important. And as we age, our bone density and our muscle mass go down. So this is so important, Barry.
it is. And I got to tell you, I've been thinking in the back of my mind about how I'm going to do one of these berry things and make it a priority. Like I am going to get on the other side of this lower back problem. I do have to say, Lisa just had my beautiful, expensive chair restuffed because after sitting in it for so many hours a day for so many years, it got kind of flat, and now it hurts my back worse than ever.
Oh boy.
So there's
Huh.
that. Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
tough one to battle. I will say that walking the dog, him getting me out of this chair a few times a day, is instrumental to unwind the back. Walking
It's a
is
huge thing.
great
Yeah.
for your lower back.
Just getting out of that sedentary lifestyle is a huge thing for backs. I mean, this is
Yes,
a big deal. So yeah, going on those walks, that kind of exercise is perfect.
it does. So we got a couple of really good ab exercises, and one I think you're going to talk about it. I was really relieved and nostalgic to see it because it's an exercise our coach, our wrestling coach in high school used to put us through endlessly. And we'd put
Yes.
our hands under our butts and everything to try to find leverage. And, it's like he'd make us
Yes.
do 30 reps and we were just dying. You're talking 17, 18-year-olds.
Our
Dying.
track coach had us do that too. There would be points where we would be in such agony that with our hands out to the side, we'd just start
Yes.
slapping the ground.
Yes. Yes. We did all that too. Yeah. Just thought you're going to die. And your ego was such like, oh, but I can't stop. I can't be the one to stop.
No,
Everybody
your
would.
friends are all your friends will know, and then you're
Yeah.
going to hear about that in the locker room
But I'd
later
be
when the
looking
towel
around
slap.
going, but how is everybody else doing this so much better than me? Am I that much of a wimp? Oh my God.
And they know that they're doing that. Everyone's thinking the same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, my point. My point exactly. So let's get started on this first one. I think you want to talk about it. Do you want me to share it or do you want to share? We got
Yeah,
some,
go ahead. So
yeah, we got some visual.
I think this is important to see because, as we do these kinds of exercises, we can do them wrong and injure ourselves. So
Yeah.
it's important that, I mean, if you can watch this part of the video
And if
and not
not,
just
please
listen, it's,
describe for the listeners, Merle.
yeah. So this is, what is this one called?
I don't know,
like
but
you're
you're
doing a
laying flat on your
tabletop kind of
back on
thing.
a
Yeah.
yoga mat. That's what's important. Your back is against a nice, comfy yoga mat
Yogurt.
on the floor. So you're just laying on your butt on your back.
Yeah, and the focus is your lower back and pressing it into the mat as you're lifting up your legs so that when you're at the height of your legs, you're in a tabletop position, like you're as if your shins or the back of your calves are resting on a low tabletop and your
Nice.
shins are parallel to the ground.
Hmm.
Now they say to hold it when he's in that up position to hold it for like 30 seconds.
Oh, I didn't
That's what
read
I
that.
was reading. You can do that as to make it harder.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the other one that we'll see in a second.
Oh, okay.
If you go down to this, it's showing where not only is he putting his legs in that tabletop position, but once he gets into the tabletop position, he stretches his legs out so that the legs are at about a 45-degree angle to the
Hmm.
ground when fully extended. Keep in mind, the real trick is focusing on keeping your back glued to that mat. Otherwise, you
Hmm.
could hurt yourself on this. Now, this is interesting that I was reading is that as you stretch your feet out like this, when you first start doing this, you might not stretch all the way out so that your legs are fully extended. This way, you could work into that. And I highly recommend these are the kind of exercises you want to slowly work into. You don't
You
want to
could
do
pull
this
your
all in
back.
one day. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're done. Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll never want to do it again.
Yeah,
So
right.
the psychological factor on these kinds of exercises are pretty important. Is that you want to get into the motion first, like the first couple of days before you make this really hard. The first like couple weeks is what I meant to
Yeah,
say.
I think that's really well said. And what you can do when you're about to approach this exercise in this position is start with stretching by simply from that position, laying down on your butt, bring your knees up. And then grab them with your forearms, like wrap your arms around your knees and roll around a little bit like that. Pull your knees up to your chest. That will stretch out your lower back. And you want to start with that before you go straight into this exercise. Merle, I also want to tell you, like this exercise we're looking at right there, that's the wrestling one. And there was just a
Yes.
minor difference to it, is that we kept our legs straight. Once we got up there and extended our legs, we then slowly brought them down and hovered 6 inches above the mat and then had to extend our legs into like a V, a
Yeah.
wide V.
Together, apart,
And then,
together, apart.
yes, and
Oh
then
my
back up
God.
again. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's so hard. But I remember reading years ago, it's the kind of thing that I think over years, I know that so many things about exercise become outdated as you learn new information, like diet, And
Exactly.
I thought this is one exercise probably went out of style because we didn't notice. I kind of forgot about it. But I remember back then we would learn that I had read that this is supposed to lengthen your abdominal muscles. In other words, kind of stretch you out. And I don't know how much better to explain that, but if you like look at this visually, you can kind of understand that it is stretching out lengthwise your abdominal muscles. I am definitely incorporating this back into my daily workout for sure.
I think this is good. Now, this article that you had me read,
Hmm.
there's an expert here, Jonathan Sue. He's a physical therapist in San Francisco, and he's talking about a study that was done in the University of Michigan, where it was proving that even if you're obese, doing these kinds of
Oh, yeah.
exercises, first off, let's say this is number one. First shocker is, hey, you want to get rid of that belly fat, so you do all these exercises, and you're like, what the, like Barry said, in 3 weeks you're going to have a six pack. It's probably not going to be that,
No,
but then you might get
not over
discouraged, like,
30.
this isn't really changing that much. But the good news is this, is that it, besides the aesthetic part of working out, just working out is totally healthy to reduce your chances of having heart disease, increase your balance and your stability, your core strength, so you don't fall down. And falling down at our age is a thing. So this leads to more happiness when it comes to healthiness, and that's really what we're trying to accomplish here on Over 50 Starting Over. But here's something that shocked me too, Barry, and I was kind of discouraged because it says after the age of 50, you're losing 2 to 3% of your muscle mass every
Hmm.
year. And
Hmm.
so your core strength also starts to become weaker, and it happens so slowly that you barely notice it until all of a
Uh-huh.
sudden one day you can't get out of the chair without pushing off with your arms. But that
Very
2
true.
to 3%, holy cow. Like, over 10 years, that could be 30% of your body mass, your muscle mass. And
Yeah,
so
that's if you don't do anything.
you
And I
don't
got to
do
tell you,
anything,
everything's
right?
momentum. And sitting in a chair is that there's the physics behind it. An object in motion remains in motion, an object that's not stays on.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that. But the truth of the matter is, we all kind of know that if you were in an exercise routine and you fell out of it for a period of months, it's really, really difficult to start again.
Mm,
Um,
it really is. I,
yeah,
I
you
have
got to
I have some.
reform.
And here's the mistake that we make. I've made this mistake, is, okay, I beat myself up until I feel terrible. And then I force myself into some kind of physical routine. But I start out way too, like, I got to get it one and done in the first week. And now I'm super sore and I'm discouraged. And, well, let me just take a break here. I won't do it this day. And then now I'm off and I just don't do it again.
Right.
And so this has happened a bunch of times, and I've come up with a way of overcoming that whole thing. I've had these start stops before,
Uh-huh.
and the starting part, this is just, I don't know if this would work for everybody, but for me, I belong to Planet Fitness, and I find that if I just go to the gym, I'm going to work out, right? So the trick for me isn't the workout; it's actually just going. And so I convince myself, like, hey, just drive over there. And the second part is this, is I tell myself, especially in the beginning, just go for 15, 20 minutes and get on that treadmill and just walk. Listen, all I'm trying to do in the first 2 weeks is get into the routine. So once I get into the routine, it's all about consistency, right? And
Hmm.
then and when I start back on the weights, I make those weights ridiculously light. I've
Yes.
learned to
Perfect.
not care about who's looking at me. And
Perfect.
really, when it comes down to, like, especially when you get to the weights, technique is master. If you're
Yes.
doing it wrong, you're gonna hurt yourself.
And you're
And
going to
so,
build a bad habit.
Exactly. It's like playing music. If you're playing it the wrong way, you're going to build a bad habit that you have to back out of, and that takes
Yeah,
time and it's frustrating.
yeah.
So you're looking in the mirror. The reason they have mirrors in there is so you can watch your technique, not look at how big your muscles are. I do that. But anyway, it's a technique and lightweight. Do it. Don't overdo it. Leave before it's time. Like, oh, I can do this. Leave. Get out of there. Because what you want is that good feeling about going to the gym. And after 3 weeks of doing that, like anything else you do for 3 weeks, it becomes a habit. You don't even think about it. Your mind doesn't resist it. You just go and you do it. And it's all about consistency. And pretty soon, miracles start happening to your body.
And even along with that is another thing that doesn't happen is you don't get ungodly tight and sore 2 days after that workout, so you can't go back.
It's like
And
you sign up for these gym memberships, and it comes with a trainer. And that first day you come in, they're like, "Come on, go." And it's just like you're paying this guy to torture you on that
yeah,
first day, and you never want to see that guy
true.
again. So, like,
They're
why
important
do they
though.
do that?
If you don't know technique, you're going to build those bad habits and you're going to hurt yourself. Yeah, so if you don't know how to work out, I would definitely say start with a trainer, but tell them for sure, don't yell at me. I don't need that. I'm
Yeah,
over 50. I'll
we're
hit
not
you.
we're not kids anymore. Exactly.
Okay, so I want to
Or I'll
get
give you a
back.
bad review on Yelp.
Yeah, right.
That's our way now. Not
Yeah,
gonna
that's
fight. We're
right.
just gonna
I,
write.
I really liked your advice on that. I think that's very important. I want to just cap this off with one more ab exercise that goes perfectly along with that. I don't even need a visual for it. I'm just going to tell you it's planks. It's I've heard celebs say this is the only ab exercise they do. It's all you need, and all it is. It's lay instead of laying on your back, now we're laying on our stomach. We're laying straight on our yoga mat on our stomach, and we push ourselves up with our elbows onto our elbows, and we are on our tiptoes. And you keep your body straight as a board. Don't let your lower back sag or rise. Keep it perfectly straight. I mention this and I concentrate on this because of my lower back problems. This is why I
Yeah,
say that.
this is good. Yeah.
It's really good. So it strengthens your whole core. When we say core, it's like, okay, all of a sudden people started saying that about 10 to 20 years ago. We used to say
Yes.
abs and stomach. And now we say core. What's this? It
Well,
is
that's
different.
not politically correct. Oh,
No,
okay.
dude, it means all of your middle section. It's
I
not
got
just
you.
your abs. It is also your back muscles and your obliques, which are your side muscles. So when you're doing plank, you're strengthening your whole core. Now you can
Really?
strengthen your obliques, those side muscles, your love handles, by going on the side, going on one elbow. And it's hard, man. It's hard
So
because of your
you lift
balance.
one elbow. Yeah, no
Yeah,
kidding.
yeah. It's hard. So I typically keep my one hand that is free. I balance myself with it. Generally, I try not
Gotcha,
to a bit,
gotcha.
but it gets uncomfortable. And if it gets
Balance.
really uncomfortable, you just stop doing it. So
Yes.
I don't do a lot of the side ones. If I do just the straight old plank, I'm a winner for that day. Not kidding. And by the way, start off with like 20 seconds at a time. Because I'll
That's
tell
good
you
advice.
what, when you get up to a minute at a time, it's a big deal. 1 minute goes by fast. When you're eating that breakfast, it doesn't go by fast at all when you're doing a plank. That's
No,
the
it does
longest
not.
minute of your day.
That's like those back to wrestling and track, right?
Yeah,
Where it's like, when is this guy gonna say put him down?
that's exactly right. But it is a perfect exercise to go along with the one we just showed you. And I don't think we have a name for the one that you talked about.
Yeah, I don't know that there was a name for that either. Let me
I don't
look
think
it up.
we ever had a name for that.
No,
We
except
had
for
to. We had to. Otherwise,
okay.
assume this position. You got to say something.
Yeah, yeah. Get into that torture position again.
Yeah,
Let's see.
well, I
I do
don't
not
recall.
see a name for it though.
We're
Always
gonna have to
just
come
yeah.
up with one. We'll talk about it. We'll do that. I'll submit it to chat and say submit me 10 proposed names, and then we'll come up with one.
Yeah, but this is a good
Or
one,
not.
and we're always looking. I mean, just doing sit-ups is what everybody knows. You're gonna hurt your
It's hard.
back.
It is hard on your
You're
back.
gonna hurt your
I
back.
suggest doing them still, but
Yeah,
I would suggest leaning on the exercises we just showed you more
yeah,
and doing less of the traditional sit-ups because it is grinding your back into the ground quite a bit.
yeah. That's the deal. Hey, you know what? Just a side note here. The White House announced the reestablishment of the presidential fitness test.
Oh,
That
really?
actually went away under the Obama administration, and so why would they take that away? That first off, I
Well,
don't
first of
know.
all, okay, explain what that is because I'm thinking a gym class.
Yes,
And really?
yeah, it's gym class. And remember, okay, so I remember back in the 70s, I my favorite class was gym.
Sure, it was
And
almost
yeah,
every except
yeah,
fat
well,
the
yeah,
occasional fat kid. Now everyone's
right,
fat.
exactly. And it's funny you're saying it like that too, because back when we were kids, it was only there was like one fat kid and then
Uh-huh.
that poor kid, but now it's
Uh-huh.
half the kids. So the presidential fitness
More
test
than
was a
that.
big deal. It was 10 different things. You had to do sit-ups, like 100 of those. You had to do
Oof.
pull-ups. You had to do shuttle run. You had to there was like rope climbing. I can't remember all of the things
Rope
you had to
climbing
do.
is hard for anybody.
I was good at
Anybody.
that.
Really?
The thing that was hard for me was the pull-ups, but I was able to do. I won the presidential fitness test a few years in a row, and then you get like this certificate, this really cool presidential patch, and so on. And it was just cool, and you felt like you accomplished something. And it wasn't easy either. They
No.
advertised that on TV, and it was just something special. But this is now out there to encourage kids. President made an executive order on this, and in the face of all of this unhealthy practices, that our kids are obese now. They have terrible eating habits,
Yeah.
and this is
Thank our FDA for that.
basis for far too long. The physical and mental health of American people have been neglected. Rates of obesity, chronic disease, inactivity, and poor nutrition are at crisis level, particularly among our children. And this whole program is meant to start to chip away at that whole thing. And I think
Good.
this is good as we talk about this. Our youth needs to be healthy. We need to be healthy in order to mentor our youth. And by
Uh-huh.
the way, our physical stature has a lot to do with our receptibility, especially amongst younger people.
And even self-esteem, for
Big
that
time.
matter.
Yep.
So it's all hand in hand. Mentally, what we feed our bodies, that it affects our mental state as well. So way overdue. We've been poisoning our kids. We've been putting taxpayer money into the FDA to invert a food pyramid to poison our kids so that they could be rescued by the pharmaceutical industry, all on taxpayer dollars. That's absolutely horrible.
It really is, Barry. And I know we're starting to transition
Yeah,
here.
we
There's
are.
a couple of things that we've been talking about. One is that Charlie Kirk being interviewed by Tucker Carlson, and the other one is that article that you bubbled up. I was extremely optimistic about the times that we're living in right now, and I would say the two of those things are so opposite of one another, where Charlie Kirk has a very um, dire look at what's happening, especially with Gen Z. And he sees that there's a very large chance of radicalization amongst the young men, especially he calls them the Lost Boys. And then we have this other article that you bubbled up. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about
Oh,
that.
yeah,
This
yeah.
this person is very hopeful about where we are and sees a lot of very positive
Hmm.
things about what's happening.
Okay, let me get started. Your mic is not doing so well. So, this is our friend of show, Dom Zinicola's blog. I'm going to bring that up now. And he's been on the show before. He's a very good friend, and everyone loves Dom. He's a very optimistic guy. I think we got a picture of him at the bottom. I commented on his blog here. He's got a picture somewhere. But I gave this a new name. He and his marketer decided to use a quote for the name of the article, which is too long and it's not very descriptive. I gave it a
I
name.
was wondering about that. I was like, what does that mean? Cool quote from Marcus
Yeah,
Aurelius,
should
but
lead into the quote. But
yeah.
I'd say a quick name is at the top of the game, America's new highs. So that's what Dom talks about here. And here's his intro paragraph. And Merle and I are going to give our takes on it, our feedback on it. It's a very, very positive outlook. I told Merle, I shared this with Merle because I'm like, dude, I need some positive outlook so bad. I have been craving it. I'm very, very cynical, and I'm still cynical. And I'm going to share my cynicism. And God, I hope you talk me out of it, Merle. At least temper it. Here's his intro paragraph. What I'm witnessing in America right now, Dom Zinicola. As I sit down and write this blog, I find myself observing something pretty remarkable happening in our country. The stock market is at all-time highs. Real estate market breaking records. Unemployment is near historic lows. Inflation, it's relatively tame compared to recent years. So what's really going on here? I've written about many of these topics before, but I believe we're seeing the results of three major events that have propelled the United States well ahead of the rest of the world. I'm just going to read the headings of these. The first, he says, three major events. The first is the 2008 financial crisis. The next is the freaking pandemic. And the third is the past three election cycles. And then he just wraps from there. I will say the beautiful thing about Dom's articles is that they are all intentionally that easy of a read. They're 5-minute reads. And by the way, I'll put the link to his blog on the website, but it's called a blueprint for life.com. So it's a blueprint, numeral 4, life.com. It's a very good blog. I am subscribed to it. I get it as it comes out to my email box as it happens, just like 050. If you go to over50startingover.com, sign up right there. And you know what? For a second, I'm going to bring that up. Oh, except that this is to log in. Because what I want to show you very quickly is that I've redesigned our homepage so that our video comes up right there as soon as you go. Over50startingover.com. It's our entire blog article, and you can comment right there at the bottom. So no more excuses, people. Go there, and as you get to the bottom, a pop-up window will come up where you can sign up for our email list. And you can even see our last few episodes too, right at the bottom.
I like that. I like that.
Super easy. So we are back to Dom's article. And I want you to start butting in wherever you want. Merle.
Okay, here's my first one okay, so you look at these things where he's talking about the 2008 financial crisis, the COVID epidemic, the past three cycles, but my favorite part was your comment at the bottom.
Oh,
because it does make sense. You didn't read that, but I didn't read it until just now. It was the copy I had was so small that I didn't read it. But I love what you said. Sure, love the optimism, but the slowing of inflation is like saying I may have gained 50 pounds last year, but I only gained 25 pounds this year, so my weight gain is down by 50%.
That's how they do it.
It's actually a great analogy. It's glasses half full, glasses half empty kind of thing. I really believe this, Barry, that Right now, there are a lot of things that we can focus on that are going to cause us to fall into deep depression and probably sideline ourselves for the rest of our lives because we just can't deal with it. We're overwhelmed, or we can choose to look at it and look at the positives. But I do think that this person, in looking at these positives, he takes it a little bit too far for me, because when we take a look at these things, the 2008 financial crisis, the COVID pandemic, and the past three elections, I feel like he's really stretching to make this a positive thing.
Well, let's
Yes,
start
he's
though.
right about everything that he says. Yes, the 2008 financial crisis, we did get out of it. We did move forward. People did start investing in our economy. Those things are true. America did do everything that they could, the citizens, to lift themselves up from the bootstraps. The problem, though, is that the bailouts caused a massive inflation, and
Who got rich?
in particular, it caused our housing market to just explode
It killed
due
a
to the
lot of families.
lower interest rates to near zero. And what we really saw was the expansion of the housing market was due to the hedge funds that now had this very low interest rate. It could outperform any of us who were competing with them to buy these houses. Now we have a situation where our houses are, rather than three times our income, they're seven times our income. And especially Gen Z coming out of college can't afford this. And
Well,
so
at
we
the
have a
end of the
new
day,
problem that was created by the solution to the old problem. Go ahead, Barry.
the banks were bailed out with taxpayer money. And millions of us lost jobs and our retirement savings, and no one paid the price. Obama had these bankers right in his sights, brought them to Washington. A few were quoted as saying, "We thought we were going to prison, and we just had the promise that we'd never do it again." That was it. So expect that to happen again. And, it's the resilience. It came at the expense of the middle class, the working class. And as far as I'm concerned, it was just a prelude to what was coming twice as hard with COVID.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, here it says under the financial crisis of 2008, corporate profits and productivity bounced back impressively, where profits rose 70%, while U.S. labor productivity grew 30% since 2008 and 2009. This is more than three times the growth in Europe and the UK. Back to your analogy, is okay. That's true, but do you want to be in the UK or Europe? How, just like your thing is like, but they're still sick. And so what? We did better than them, but we're still sick too. And this productivity gain is all due to this influx of free money into our economy that was printed that
Mhm.
lowers the value of each dollar, making our gains on Wall Street fake.
Very true. And I would not be comparing ourselves to Europe at all anymore now or in the future because that is a failing area. And Europe is not going to be what we remember it next year, year after, and so forth. So they are crumbling, and they're crumbling over under our own weight. The tariffs just got passed, I think,
Yes.
yesterday.
Today
And
is they go into effect today.
okay, 15% as I recall. And I don't know. It's kind of like, what I see it as? First of all, we are under the thumb of all the bankers, and we are being overextended with inflation, which is like a high interest credit card. And now we're making Europe pay for our same high interest credit card. The whole world's involved now in paying off this debt. I'm jumping ahead here, but at the end of the day, I think if we're going to survive this, we need to get off the dollar. We need to get off these banks. We need to destroy them. There needs to be a concerted effort in an awakening as to what the hell has been going on with our finances. No one knows how to
I
talk about it.
I couldn't agree with you more on this. And at the same time, I would say that there is a danger of vulnerability here that we want change so badly that this is a great void for bad guys to come in and fill that void with all kinds of great promises
That's a
that
really good
sound
point.
good, but it's really a wolf in sheep's clothing. I've been learning about this program called GESARA, GESE or GESARA. I'm trying to find out if it's a real thing or not. It stands for Global Economic Security and Reformation Act, and sometimes called the Global Economic Security and Recovery Act. Apparently, this comes out of the Clinton administration. There's two versions of it, NESARA and GESARA. One is national, and the other one is global. Grok says that it is a conspiracy theory, and I'm going to tell you about this only because of the wolf in sheep's clothing part that I talked about, because this program says that it will cancel all personal, corporate, and national debts worldwide, introduce a new global currency backed by precious metals, restructure financial systems for transparency and equity, and bring about a golden age of prosperity. Well, those sound all great. Let's do it. I mean, what are we thinking? We should just jump into this and do
Yesterday,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, it makes sense, right? Like when you consider that all debt is actually debt on fiat money that has been created through an alchemy process, which is I just made money. I printed it over there and now it's money. And
Yeah.
what really it is it's currency. It's not money. We've talked about this before. It represents value, but it's actually just a piece of paper. The value comes from what's already out there. So if you have a 401k or a bank account and there's money in it, every time they print money, it devalues your money just a little bit more. So that's where the value of the printed money comes from. In other words, they commandeer it from us.
Hmm.
And so all debt, even debt that you owe on your loan, you got a loan from the bank, but the bank actually is loaning you money that they just made through a process called oh, it's called checkbook money. I can't fractional reserve lending. They just make it up. In other
Hmm.
words, it's just like printing the money. So do you really owe them money that they just hocus pocus and
Right.
whipped up? No, because that money came from the value of your money and our collective money. So really, this whole $37 trillion the United States owes, do we really owe it to them because they printed that money, or who maybe they owe it back to us because they commandeered it from us?
There we go.
You
That was a
start
good
looking at it
explanation.
that way, they owe us $37 trillion.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that means we can cancel all of this debt. This is now we're going far out. However, how easy would it be to start talking about something like this with a background scheme that's much like a Ponzi scheme to fool everybody? And we got to be very careful right now. I mean, we do need to go to a gold standard, but could we be fooled on that? There's too many people out here that are trying to fool us right now. This is a tough one, Barry.
It is it, but that was really good nuggets of information that we will just keep building on in the future. So, I
Right
mean, we
on.
can't, we can't put out too much at one time. It
You're
loses
right.
me, totally
Yeah, me
loses.
too.
So it's like you're talking
I
about
agree.
quantum physics.
Well, you're right. You're right. And at the same time, we've got a whole generation called Gen Z right now that's in
Hmm.
so much trouble. They're in peril right now because of everything we are talking about that happened in 2008. It's
Uh-huh.
this whole buy now, pay later mentality. We bailed out the banks, we bought ourselves what we would
Yeah.
call a repair, but the repair we didn't pay for. We just printed that money, and now the chickens have come home to roost 10, 15 years later for Gen Z. When these people are getting out of high school or out of college, the housing market is beyond them. They're in debt. They can't afford to start a family or buy a house. The marriage rates have gone back 20%. Young people aren't getting married like they used to. They're not committed to each other. Women don't want to marry these men because we have an inequality here. The women are making more money than the young men are. 7% of young men are unemployed. It's a tragedy.
Suffering with depression as a result too.
And compared to 3% women. So women are in a much better place in that
Overcorrection.
And they don't want to marry a man that they've got to take care of.
Right.
So what we're seeing is marriages aren't, if they're happening at all, they're happening in their early 30s. And first-time home buyers have gone from back in 2008, under 30 to now 38 years old. And think about it. When we were coming up, you get out of college, you get married, you buy a house, you start a family, all before you're 30 years old. Now that happens 10 years later, and biologically speaking, we've kind of passed the prime age of childbearing. And so that's impacted as well. And now we have this kind of hopelessness for these young people that are coming out into the world that can't afford to start a family, to buy a house. They're very much in debt.
We've screwed them
about this.
Yeah, we take no responsibility for that. We always kick the can down the road and blame. The last two generations, Gen X and Boomers, just blame generations. For some reason, we have this thought that we are the greatest thing that ever happened, and that everybody else is always down the road is ruining it. No, we did that ourselves. We have been way overdue for a youth movement. We created the problems. We're not going to solve them, and we need to empower the younger generation, and we need to encourage critical thinking, and we need to let them feel ownership. And pride. And people like Charlie Kirk, just want to briefly explain because we're running out of time, but his claim to fame, if you've ever seen him on YouTube, he's a huge global hit on YouTube. He goes to colleges every month and he debates anybody and everybody. He's like, bring your professor, whatever. And they throw out all their woke garbage at him and he dismantles them. And he doesn't have a college degree. He did not go to college. He's 31 years old. He's brilliant. And I think that he's a really good representation of Gen Z. He's at the really beginning part of Gen Z.
Right.
And I think that
31 years old. Right.
I think that the way we blame and take no blame for ourselves is really it can be found right in all the millennial and Gen Z generation. We got the Gen Alpha coming up. We had better rely on them to save this country, because what happened with us, and I say us, I put Boomers and Gen X together, but I always come back to the old adage I think is brilliant. Hard times, think of the beginning of this country. Hard times. Hard times create hard men. Hard men create soft times. Mm-hmm. Soft times create soft men. That's where we're at. Soft men create hard times. And we're going to be hardening up the next generations because we're soft. We've been soft. And we think we're the hard ones. We're not. We're not. I want to get through this and continue on with this discussion, but we're on this part. So Dom was talking about how great we came through the COVID pandemic. Another painful chapter. We once again adapted and rolled out a vaccine. Our rapid V-shaped economy recovered at the sheer speed of whatever, and money flowed, and not just into the stock market, but housing markets as well. And states like Florida really came up with different approaches, less restrictive, and really thrived. So I have a completely different take on COVID. And first and foremost, I'll never get out of my head that it was the single largest transfer of wealth in all of human history. The CARES Act, remember those $1,200 checks or whatever that you got?
Never forgot. Right.
Yeah, it's a beautiful money laundering situation. Anytime the government gives you something, even if it's in the form of welfare or whatever, but these checks, they're always taking 90% of it, and we get 10% back. That's a really great deal, and that's being generous. Mm-hmm. So $5 trillion. Okay. Hundreds of thousands of businesses, family-owned businesses closed, small business, so Walmarts and such, and Amazon could thrive. Bill Gates, what's his name? Bezos, his net worth increased by $70 billion in this time. So the rich got richer, we got poorer. 3.3 million small businesses permanently closed between 2020 and 2021. That's just disgusting. So that's what I got to say about the COVID. And you're supposed to cheer me up. So what do you got to say about this part?
Crickets. COVID was terrible. There's nothing good that I can look at with COVID except for this guy is comparing us to Europe. And that's the only way you could possibly look at this is by comparing ourselves to our neighbors. But it's like, wow, I don't have terminal cancer like my neighbor. I just have, MS. I
diabetes
guess,
or
to
something.
be okay. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this isn't COVID was not good news, and it was a wealth transfer. It much like the 2008 Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, it went into the hands of the uber wealthy.
Yeah.
One of the things that we can look at too is super yacht purchases during COVID went through the roof, right? Like who the only people that were making money were these, right? I wasn't making it. I had to sell mine, but yeah, it's like these 100-foot yachts and everything. They were flying out of there, and now look at what's happened with the housing market. Sure, the housing market went up. The hedge funds were buying all the houses. They pumped up the housing market, so now we can't afford to buy a house.
Right.
And if you have a house, the property value of your house went up, but if you want to go,
your property
I got all this money, but all the other houses went up too. So it's not like you can sell your house and move into a better house.
Right.
It's just that the housing market went up. And if you sell your house and you don't buy a house right away, the housing market keeps on going up and you lose out. In other words, every day that goes by, you're losing money because of what's happening with this housing market. And you got to look at it kind of like the game of Monopoly. Who are these people that are buying them up? It's the bankers who have all the money and can print money. And we all should have a money printer that we can use. Back to what you said. They gave us all of this money, which they printed, which caused inflation, but also now everybody has this money. And then what
inflation
happened? They went out to buy things online because we couldn't go anywhere, and it ruined the supply chain. I mean, there was a multitude of calamities that happened under that. I would say the only good news of COVID is that many of us had our eyes open during that time. And then we said, never again. We won't be fooled again, like that Who song. And I think that gives us, above all, anything that guy said, I'm not really latching onto that. But to me, above all, that's the best thing that came out of COVID is now we have a fighting chance to avoid the next one.
I think that's a good point. COVID was a gigantic eye-opener. Certainly, I speak quite a bit about how it was for me, and I don't think I'm necessarily a dumb person, and I'm independent, so I have an open mind. But boy, I was all patriotic about, 2019, 2020. Let's do the right thing. Let's get on board. Our government's not going to screw us. And boy, do I think completely differently today. And the transfer of wealth that we've seen in such a short period of time, since 2008, is astronomical. And so now we are irrefutably in an oligarchy, and we have to find our way out. I strongly feel that AI could help grease those wheels, help us find that way out. I can also say something also hopeful that I read this morning or last night, that mainstream media is in particular about CNN. CNN's down another 44% in ratings.
How could that even?
But
how many people are looking at it?
And with it, I mean, they're leading the pack in that regard. But with it, all of mainstream media is, including Fox. But that's just because it's legacy media, and frankly, Fox gives you better news, but they still are team politics. They still are preaching hate. It's still about we hate Democrats and they're terrible people. So I'm not about that end of things. My point to this is the hopefulness that we are in a period of awakening. Thank God COVID gave us a big kick in the ass in that direction, right? They have been forcing us to awaken. The internet has given us the means. We have independent media and skeptics like ourselves out the wazoo with a lot of information to draw from. So we are trying to find hopeful. Look, here's the bottom line for me. We're going to have to wind up here, Merle. But
Okay.
back to, I want to empower the younger generations to try to correct course with the travesty that we let happen during our tenure.
Agreed. And I think that these young people, Charlie Kirk talked about 2008 and how he was in high school at the time. He saw what happened to his family. So these Gen Z people have seen the lies and the corruption and the things that they've been told, and they're skeptical like we are as well. And so many of us that are over 50 starting over have children that are that age, or we're working with people that are that age, and really bringing these things up as maybe we can help them through this. How
Stop with the criticism, for one, and
Yeah.
start saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we let this happen. And what can I do now to try to help you get a hand up? And maybe it's stop with the reverse mortgages and bleeding them dry. Let's not bleed them, the futures of our kids and grandkids dry anymore. How about we start there? How about we start pushing back?
Well, and there's a couple other things that we can look at with these, especially young men that absolutely need jobs. Like we should be looking at
mentorship too.
And college education. What we just heard from Jamie Dimon, the CEO of Chase, that there's a need for 20,000 new electrical engineers, which is typically men go into that field. You don't need a college education for that. It's a high-paying job. However, what we see is a lot of illegal aliens that are taking these kinds of positions. So as we take a look at the reversal of what happened over the last 4 years with illegal immigration, what we can be doing is hiring these young men that are Americans and putting them back to work at American wages, and we will start to see a turnaround in the marriage decline, in the child decline, and lots of other things. So hopefully we're heading in that direction, Barry, and I think that is positive news in how we are going forward. It's going to be ugly, though, I think, over the next couple of years as we start to right size the things that we lost over the last, especially 10 years.
Charlie Kirk said repeatedly he wants to fix it without a revolution, without the violence, and that would be ideal. But we're going to skirt right by that barely is what's going to.
But look at what he's doing. He's going right to the source. He's going right to those college campuses, and he challenges these young minds in a very in an appropriate way. He's not slamming them. He's not arrogant. He's not telling them that they're dumb. He's reasoning with them, just like
he's
the
cutting
reason we
through their
started the
BS.
show. Right. And he's being real. And
hitting them with
smart.
truth.
Yeah,
he's super smart.
Seemingly a guy that was raised up for such a time as this. And
Agreed.
I mean, many of the things that we've started the show for, which was demonstrating reasoning, and both of us we've reasoned together over these past years, and that's what he's doing with these young people. And I'm seeing
common
a turnaround.
sense.
It is.
You're right.
You should watch this guy on Instagram or YouTube.
Subscribe to him. Yeah.
It's really amazing how he deals with them, and we can take a lesson from him.
Oh, that's very true. Okay, so winding up, I want to say Dom Zinicola's blog, A Blueprint for Life.com. Please sign up for that. Dom, I appreciate your optimism.
I do too.
I really do, and I will always continue to read your blog for that fresh perspective. Merle did not make me any less cynical. as he was supposed to. But no,
I
there
was
is hope.
trying to.
We were talking.
I was
We were
trying
talking
to.
hope for the future,
I think there's hope.
and
I
I
have
liked
hope.
it.
I
I
have hope.
think that we should talk more about that and sprinkle that into every one of our shows because I need it. I want to say, winding up on the lighter side, I have a quick show recommendation. On Hulu, I started watching An Old Man with I got it in my notes. It's a really, really good show with we like him, you like him. Oh my God, all these notes.
But it's called An
Jeff
Old
Bridges,
Man. Oh, I love Jeff
John
Bridges.
Lithgow, their adversaries. So Jeff Bridges they're both very old now, and it's like Jason Bourne, but with really old people, and retired CIA, something like that. And he's like on the run. Is very smart. It's very slick in every regard. Very well written. I'm on about the third or fourth episode. And I even asked Chat because Chat made the recommendation. It knows my taste, and I said, "Is this going to do like a Lost thing where it meanders out of control and all of a sudden you don't have an ending?" And it's like, no. It doesn't lose track of who it is. The show. It's a good show.
An Old Man.
The Old Man.
The
Old Man,
Okay.
and it's on Hulu. You can purchase the season on Amazon Prime. In fact,
Very
there's two
cool.
seasons. Yeah, it's really good. You'll really like it. Yeah,
Oh, I
for
can't
sure.
wait to check it out. Now, you did tell me that my recommendation was K-Pax a couple of weeks ago.
Yes,
and,
I loved it.
You said you watched it.
I loved it. And
love that.
what I liked about it mostly, I've been digging the shows, and I've been telling Hulu, been telling Chat this, is I've been really digging the movies between 1995 and 2010. It's kind of like before they got woke and
Yes.
before they just started redoing the same storylines over and over again.
Over and over, yeah.
There's a really good period there. K-Pax falls right in the middle of it.
What was it? 2000? What was the range again?
For me, it's totally arbitrary. I say 1995 to 2010.
I gotta say, I agree.
It's a good
with you.
range.
There are really good movies. It's probably the end of the era. I mean, in that time period, I was still seeing the movie trailers and going, "Oh, I gotta see that," and I want to go to the theater.
Yeah.
But I don't. That doesn't happen anymore.
No, I know. With that, I gotta get going, Merle. I do
right,
want to
Barry.
say we do have a new AI tip with
All right.
Mark. Can't wait to see that, and guys, can't wait to see you again next week.
Oh, tell us how they can.
Well, hello there, over 50, starting over friends. Mark Tennant back with you with your AI tip of the week. This week, Google's Notebook LM, your own AI-powered research buddy. Well, over the last 30-some episodes and AI tips that we've given you, I'm confident that you know how to properly talk to ChatGPT and other AI tools. So now it's time to go a little deeper, actually a lot deeper into AI. And we're going to start with some tools that you can start learning today and use. And one of those tools, Google's Notebook LM. It's designed to help you interact with, organize, and make sense of your own collections of documents and other resources. You can think of it as a smart virtual research assistant that's trained solely on the materials that you choose to give it and upload to it. You can upload PDFs, you can upload Word documents, you can upload text files, you can give it links to websites where it actually goes out and looks at that website. You can upload images, and you can upload URLs to YouTube videos where it goes right out and understands that video, uses it as a source as part of your notebook. It is fantastic. So instead of searching the internet, it studies and it summarizes your own notes and documents, essentially. It helps you instantly find answers you're looking for, makes connections between those sources, and you can learn practically anything much, much quicker. I went to perplexity.ai, which you should be using. I asked it, what can Notebook LM generate? And you can see there, it summarizes, it creates study guides, it creates reports, detailed reports that we'll show you here in just a little bit. Audio overviews, which we'll sample in a little while. Video overview, same thing. With your sources, it can make these things with AI. It's tremendous. It can create mind maps, study guides, FAQ lists. The list goes on. So I think you have an understanding of that. So when you go to Notebook LM, and it's at notebooklm.google.com. This is the first page you come to. And by the way, it's free. What the heck? You can't beat free. So just click on the button to try Notebook LM. It takes you into your dashboard, if you will. So to create a new notebook, just simply click on Create New Notebook. And once you go inside of Notebook LM, the first thing that pops up is this window, and it's where you add your sources, your documents, whatever that we just talked about. So you can actually add files from your computer. You can add docs and slides from Google Docs and Google Drive. You can link websites to it, and you can actually put in YouTube URLs that'll go out and it'll learn on YouTube. And you can paste in text. So all of those things can be used as sources. So once you load all of your sources, they appear on the left side of the column. In this case, we've just uploaded one PDF, and it's a rather large one. It's actually America's AI Action Plan, and that's what we've worked with, and we're going to show you how that works. But all your sources will be on the left, and you can upload to, I think, 50 on the free plan. I don't think I've ever uploaded that many resources in any notebook. And on the paid plan, I think it's 300 or something. So I have the paid plan, but the free plan is just as good. 50 sources maximum that you can upload. But, you know, it created a pretty cool title, and under that, a summary of what the resources and what the subject matter it is that you're talking about. And on the right, here's where the magic happens. This is a studio portion of Google Notebook LM. It's pretty cool. Let's go inside and let's take a look. So we are inside of Notebook LM, and this is the notebook I created, America's AI Action Plan. And once again, it's the White House's new action plan that just came out here in July of 2025. And I really have only used one source, but you can use up to, I believe, 30 sources with the free version, but I don't think I've ever uploaded 30 resources for one notebook. So free is more than enough for you. And as you can see, this is the summary it created off of this resource, and it's a pretty good summary. As you scroll down, Building America AI Infrastructure, it has different components, some nice bullet points. It highlights different subjects throughout the paper. Pretty decent summary. Let's go over here to the AI Studio. Again, this is where the magic happens. And I took the time to create an audio overview, a video overview. We've created a mind map, and you've got reports we can create as well. So let's go into the video. By the way, the video overview is brand new, pretty cool feature. So you click on this, it opens a preview window, and it puts together this slide deck complete with AI voices. Let's find out.
Welcome back to The Explainer. Sometimes we dive into breaking news. Sometimes it's a new piece of tech. Today, we're tearing into a 25-page government policy document.
Pretty cool.
It's all about
again,
clearing a
it created it in about 3 to 4 minutes once I clicked on that video overview. The audio overview has been around for a while, and I've loved the feature. Essentially, how I really started using Notebook LM, I would take a large document like this, upload it, and then create an audio overview that I can download and listen in the car or have it on my phone. Again, a lot easier than reading this giant document, and you can play it over, and they're pretty pleasant, these AI hosts. Take a listen.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today we're embarking on a pretty ambitious journey. We're plunging into a document that lays out a really bold vision for the future of artificial intelligence.
That's right.
A future where one nation is aiming for, and this is their phrase, unquestioned and
Fantastic. Try it. Okay, a mind map. It created a mind map for us. And this is really cool. So it just lays everything out by section, and then you can click on each section and it gets deeper and deeper. And then let's just say you want to read this paragraph or this section, you just simply click on it and it finds it right in the document and it displays it right here over in the chat. This is an FAQ document, a frequently asked questions document it created based off of the original source. This tool, Notebook LM, is your ticket to making things go faster, learn faster, work more efficiently, and I just love it. So, what'd you think? Pretty cool, huh? I use it every single day. Notebook LM is so cool. All its answers are grounded in your own documents, your own resources, make it a transparent, focused, reliable, versatile tool, super easy to use. Anybody could use it. And it makes learning a lot fun, a lot faster, a lot easier. And for us over 50s, it is fantastic. Okay, your turn. Google Notebook LM. Try it today. Use it starting today. Tell me what you think. I want to hear what you create with Notebook LM. Mark@marktennant.net. And if you want to connect on the socials, on LinkedIn, I'm on Mark E. Tennant. So till next time, try Notebook LM. Hope you have fun with it, and I'll see you next time.